Hey everybody, welcome back. Ross Grease Gaming back with another video, and today we're looking at the test server 6.10, which has been out for about a day now, and this is some of the gameplay I had with a few of the ships with 610, and including the Tier 9 Lion. Now, I've been waiting to play this ship for a little while, since we all knew about the new content, stuff like that, so we're going to go over some of the specs, some of the sheet work, and stuff like that, but, you know, this is the Lion. Now we're gonna go over different things with competing other tier 9s, but mainly I'm gonna compete this with an Iowa because this ship is actually quite similar and quite different between the Iowa and the Lion. So we're gonna get just into it. So first off, you can see it's a very big ship, but not as big as Iowa is. Maybe a little smaller, but she is quite beautiful. Now she has some things going for her and some bad things, and we'll say that 610 has definitely shown us that, but also I'm going to congratulate Wargaming on the new things that they put in 610, so give them a round of applause, everybody. Thank you very much. Now there is a lot of good things going for it, so we're going to bring up all the spec sheets right now and all that stuff real quick. Let's hide concealment here. Don't worry about that yet. But this is what Iowa is. Now, Iowa, very beautiful ship. First off, over 70,000 health. Beautiful. Frickin' beautiful. You know, that's one of the things going for her. Number 2, she has a very decent amount of shell power. She does have the 406mm guns, which is 16-inch Mark 7, so very good penetration. The 79,000 health, the boning and 20mm all-around cannon, so she's got the close and mid-range. And she has a very good speed, 33 knots, and a very good decent concealment. Yada yada yada. So, but, you know, we all know. Go nose in, bounce the shells, hit with 16 inchers, slams the citadels, bang, boom, done. However, there are some things that you can note with the the line here that are completely different. And let's bring that up now. Now, Lion. Again, very beautiful ship, but here we go. First off, you only have 67,000 health, a average armor of 19 and 381. So you can see that it's definitely a little thicker on the armor, but it's kind of squishy, and you'll see what I mean by damage per minute. However, what's godsend for this thing, first off, you get the 419 damage, 419 guns, so you got 9 of those with dual purpose 134s. 134s do not get don't get the buffs with basic and advanced fire training, so remember that, folks. It's 134, so it gets out of that little perk range. So that can be a bit of a problem here. However, there is one crazy other thing going for her. You have insane anti-air. Now, also remember, everybody, between these two ships, I have the aiming mod and I have the plotting room on them. The difference between the Lion and the Iowa here is I can decrease the dispersion and then the gun range. You can see right there, decrease the dispersion by 16% and increase the range by about 12, I think, percent, top of my head. But if I go back to Lion, it's decrease the dispersion by 5 or 6%, increase the gun range by about 10 something percent, because you get a very low amount of range. But the anti-air on this thing is insane. There's not one Beaufort, but everything is Beaufort. You got dual Beauforts, 6 tuple Beauforts, and single Beauforts all over this ship, including the dual purpose 134s, which, as I said before, do not get the perks and buffs of the basic fire training because they are over the basic fire training and advanced fire training ratings required. Hence why Iowa's 5-inchers can get those buffs, and they can be quite devastating. That's why also the Russians are pretty good, because the 130s are still technically in that 130 range that can get that basic and advanced fire training rating. Now, another crazy thing about this thing also is the speed. It's pretty quick, you know, it's got that 30 some knots and stuff like that. A pretty decent turning radius and stuff like that, and a very good wide. It's a little girthy and a little hard to maneuver certain times, but the turning radius in this thing is so quick and the rudder shift is so decent that it's not really a major problem. What is insane though is, like I said about this ship, is it's the way this ship works. And you'll see what I mean. Let me hide all this. Look at the concealment. Ready? 11.5 concealment. Well, hold on a second, Raz. Wait a minute. 11? There's no way. That's really fucking high. How is this such a ninja? Look at Iowa here. It's below that. You get detected almost instantaneously. It's 15 on that thing. So you get sniped right off the bat with this ship. But you got a very good concealment, so you can actually, basically what you do is you fire and you can go hide yourself. Yeah, in a way. We'll see why that you're going to need that concealment, and that's going to be what I'm going to bring up next. Is whenever I said that squishy, this is why. Look at the armor. It's 32 on the whole deck. Yeah, that means pretty good. You're not going to get like that much, you know, through the bow and everything again in the Citadel. It's still going to penetrate very good. The cruisers can penetrate this and stuff like that and get the damage. You're not going to have a bounce. And because of this, you're going to have so much penetration on your ship, you're going to take a lot of damage. You're going to be basically like a giant sponge, soaking up damage over and over and over again. Now, that doesn't mean that the armor is terrible. Look, if I remember everything, the Citadel, underneath that casemate, is pretty down there. Let me bring up the bulges. You can see that it's surrounded in a very thick piece of steel around there. So the Citadel is quite protected, actually, pretty damn good. But that doesn't mean it's like invulnerable. So broadside, you're gonna get Citadeled if you don't know what the heck you're doing. But it will bounce. But the problem is because it's so thin on the top and everything else, that if plunging fire does happen, you're going to take the damage. You're just not going to take a god-awful, insane amount of damage. So that can be a slight bit of an issue, but I digress in this situation. Now, there is a difference between these guns, and this is what I'm bringing up with this Emerald here. The Lion gets those same kind of AP type rounds, just like the cruisers. What about HE? You know, is it the same HE? Nope. Different high explosive too. The high explosive on these ships is a little more penetration value, and you'll see what I mean in the next match. So here we are. This is me on one of the matches, and I'm going to fire some armor piercing, and this is with those British type cruiser type guns. Look at the damage here. Instantaneously killing that enemy. And this is what I mean by those shells can be quite derpish. Now, I'm still filling up the high explosive. Now, what does that mean with those short fuses? Well, that means that any battleship that you try to shoot at, you're not going to pin very well. You can see what I mean here. I'm going to aim at this other battleship. I'm aiming, of course, right nose on the nose end. See, not very much damage. I did do 2 defends, but it bounced pretty much. You're not going to get major penetration values on a ship like this with something of this type of caliber. That doesn't mean that this ship is terrible. Like I said, it was broadside there, so I took a Citadel. And I took some more damage. You're going to eat damage like crazy. Now there's an enemy. Ooh, an enemy freaking Neptune popping out. Now this is another reason why this thing is so nasty. Look at this cruiser.
Confirmed penetration.
Now, yeah, you could one-shot, one-kill it in most cases, but, you know, the rolls with this thing against cruisers is pretty damn spot on. And it's one of the reasons why this ship can be quite a devastating ship. Now, also you notice, see that change? Look at the fire. Doesn't look like a normal fire you usually see in the patches in the game. Yep, they changed the way the fires look. Look at the splashes too. They changed the splashes. The splashes have changed. The fires have changed. What else has changed, Raz? Well, you'll see deaths change completely too. They're a little more explosive, shall we say. But Lion, you're taking a lot of damage there, Raz. Are you going to heal that back? You know, you're not going to be able to heal that all back. Oh, yeah, I am. Look at that gray. Do you see how much of my health is potential back? Now, the fire's gone. I'm now not detected, but I'm still letting these guys wail on me. There we go. Because I know they're not going to get my citadel. And watch. I was nearly on the brink of death. And just like a zombie coming and rising from the Omoth of the grave, Lion has become over half of its health back in one keystroke. Another thing is crazy about it is these anti-airs. Look at this here. I got plane shrinking me. I'm throwing a heal up. I'm concentrating on every single plane above me, and the tick 6, 7, 8, 9. By the time those planes leave, I already left 10 planes in the dust. Now, more on some other stuff real quick, and you'll see what I mean real quick. Here is another match, and this is me in that ship in a another tier 9, tier 10 match. That's typical. You get some carriers, you get some planes and stuff like that, and it's typical you're going to see matches like this in a Lion. Now, first off, like I said before, is once the match begins to start, you're going to, right off the bat, you're going to have to start forming your plans and situations. Because the ship is so on the light end of armor on the ends in front, you take a lot of damage and penmanship on this. All stations proceed to capture that area. But that doesn't mean this ship is god-awful terrible. And you'll see what I mean. Let's speed up to some of the action real quick. Now, I moved up a little bit, and I'm looking at a position over near B and C. I wanted to focus on C. Most of the major force was over there, so I'm going over there, and I'm trying to assist them. Now, I had a broadside battleship over there, and I fired AP. You see right off the bat, 13,000 damage. Now, a lot of it did not penetrate the target, but it definitely did a good sizable amount of damage. Now, I switched over to HE, and the reason why is because the reason why the HE on this thing I'm choosing is because it's got that high penetration value of a German. So, using this, I have a very good decent amount of high explosive return of pain. Concentrate fire on the designated target. And of course it didn't hit the target very hard, but it's gonna soon change very quickly. Another thing too is also should note is the reload. It feels faster than an Iowa. It feels more comfortable than most ships. I didn't feel like I was rushing. I didn't feel like I was going bonkers all over the place. I didn't feel like I was being pressured into a bad situation and having to like spam and go, come on, reload, we need to go. You feel more comfortable in this ship than probably it feels very home to me. It feels like another Iowa. It's not like it isn't an Iowa, and it feels quite comfortable. I can bounce the shells, and I can definitely take the punishment. The only thing that's bad on this ship, and let's go start talking about the bads. I keep saying it's good, it's decent, it's fair. There are some bad problems with this. Number one, you don't got many heals. You don't have that much damage per minute kind of things going on. You can see, that's what I mean by that HE. Massive damage to that Iowa. You definitely feel a little on the not conservative way of like bounce, hit, bounce, hit, bounce, hit. You're more of take some damage, fall back and shoot. Take some damage, fall back, take some, more of like a bounce back and forth across the map. Which in theory most people are saying, that sounds terrible. I like staying in the fight and hanging out the longest. You can't do with this ship. You cannot tank.
Attention. Reporting the target position.
You can take the damage, but you're gonna have to fall back at some point. If you don't, you're gonna start losing so much damage that you're going to die. I cannot stress that enough. But what's crazy about this ship is you can take the damage and last as long as you want, to the point that if you got so much damage on it, oh, no, never mind, hit the heal, I'm back in the game. And it's gonna break the way that the physics are, because most people, I'm gonna take a little bit of damage, bounce off, because I'm trying to hold that the longest. And right there, that is some of the change here too. Look at that explosion. Since when did we have an explosion like that in the game? Now back to other things. Let's go talk about some of the skills you're going to need for this ship. Now, there's a bunch you can choose, but there's only a few that I really would recommend. The first line, right off the bat, go for preventive maintenance. Not priority target. You have already, you're going to get spotted, so it's not even worth your pointing at you going saying, oh, I got 3 ships looking at me. In preventive maintenance, you're going to lose. You're going to want to keep as many of your modules, as many of your air, and all those kind of things still kicking. Every little bit helps. 30% chance does help a bit. Number 2, right off the bat, expert marksman. You want to get those guns turning rotating because they're big, fat, stupid guns. So you want to buff them as much as you can. Number 3, this is where things start getting a little dicey. Now, I went to see how the anti-air was going to be buffed like crazy on this thing, so I went for basic and advanced fire training down that line. And I had the 15 point for the training, so that's where to go. But I would recommend Superintendent actually a little more. Go for that first. You don't see many carriers on matches nowadays, so I would recommend that. You do have some good anti-air to defend yourself, so really don't worry about it. You're going to need an extra heal. The third, fourth, final thing is that concealment. You want to buff that as much as you can, because the quicker you can get away from a situation, the better. And on top of that, then you can go for basic fire training, advanced fire training to increase your anti-air, and then maybe adrenaline rush and stuff like that. But that's 610 with the Lion. I hope you guys liked it. I had a blast in Wargaming. Really, more of this animation for explosions and kills. It makes a lot more compelling match and stuff like that. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video on 610. I hope to see you next one. As always, take care, and I hope you enjoyed.